She looks at you like she sees into your soul, and for a fleeting second, maybe you believe she does. But then something shifts. The warmth turns cold, the light in her eyes fades, and what felt like destiny begins to rot in your hands. You're left staring into a face that no longer recognizes you. And you wonder, was any of it ever real? So most men just collapse inwardly, numbing themselves with distractions, or worse, chasing that same illusion over and over again, hoping this time, maybe, the mask won't slip. Wasn't just socially inconvenient, it was existentially unbearable. This is the wound modern men cannot name. The sharp, private agony of being not just rejected, but unseen by a woman you once thought could redeem you. And if you speak of it, you'll be mocked. If you stay silent, it festers. Nietzsche warned us, but no one listened. Because what he said. Then when she doesn't live up to the fantasy, they don't question the fantasy, they blame her, or themselves, or the world. He didn't speak of the feminine and glowing ideals, like the romantics before him. A craving not for companionship, but for surrender, for obliteration, for fusion with something greater and more terrifying than the self. He saw her, capital H, as a primordial force. They will feed off it, not maliciously, necessarily, but instinctively. That if you're kind, vulnerable, high status, or healed, she finally choose you. It's not the content of your character that draws her, but the myth you carry, the gravity you project, the aura of a man who is already whole, and therefore cannot be consumed. And when she doesn't, the shame cuts deeper, but she will show it, in silence, in withdrawal, in glances toward the stronger man across the room. Because the lie you swallowed was that rejection only comes to the unworthy. Chaotic, seductive, capable of ecstasy or ruin, not evil, but indifferent. She is nature itself. And nature, if you haven't noticed, is not sentimental. He didn't hate women. He understood them. And that's what terrified everyone. You see, Nietzsche looked beneath the poetry and the pedestal. Most men never recover from realizing this. They fall in love with an image, their anima, and not with the flesh and blood woman before them. But they never ask the deeper question. What is it in me that wanted her to be my salvation in the first place? You've been told women are soft, gentle, nurturing, that if you just open up enough, she'll love you deeper. But Nietzsche saw something else. He saw that in every man's heart there is a death wish disguised as romance. This is not love. This is Dionysian madness. And some women, not all, but some, they can sense it, smell it. Like blood in the water. They will not meet you in your need. Because in her world, attraction isn't based on fairness or depth or even virtue. And if you are not that man, she will not say it aloud. You will feel it in your chest like a punch. And worse, you'll understand it. But instead of facing that terrible mirror, most men retreat. They double down on nice, or they turn bitter. Or worse, they pretend not to care. The red pill prophets scream about hypergamy, and the blue pill romantics cry about chivalry. But both sides are avoiding the same horror, that she is not yours. She is her own universe. And sometimes she is chaos incarnate. Nietzsche wrote, women, they make the highs higher and the lows more frequent. He wasn't being clever. He was being honest. He knew there was a kind of woman who doesn't love you. She possesses you. She doesn't nourish you. She tests you. She doesn't destroy you out of cruelty, but because something unconscious in you asked to be destroyed. And the modern man, he is ripe for the taking. Erotic in hunger, but empty in presence. He doesn't love her. He worships her. And like any god receiving false devotion, she grows cold, raised without fathers, addicted to validation, spiritually starved, because she was never meant to complete you. She was meant to reflect what's already there, or what's missing. because he does not need her light to see himself, because his power is not borrowed, but forged. Nietzsche wrote, "When a man has not the depths to be possessed, he becomes shallow enough to be used." This is the pain that haunts the modern psyche, not just being left, but never having truly been seen. There is a particular agony to watching a woman give her soul to another man, not because he's better, but because he's less afraid. And in that moment, the illusion shatters. You realize you were not rejected because you weren't enough. You were rejected because you weren't real. When love feels like war, and when the very thing you crave, her touch, her softness, her surrender, recoils at the first scent of your need. And now you're here, hollow, haunted, wondering what it means to be a man when the rules have changed. You want her, but you fear her, and that fear is the root. Nietzsche knew, Jung knew, the ancient myths knew. There is a darkness beneath love, a death behind the kiss, a serpent curled under every soft breast and honeyed word. The question is, can you face it without flinching? In Greek myth, there is a woman named Circe. Men wash ashore on her island, broken, lustful, hungry for warmth. She feeds them, seduces them, and then she turns them into pigs, not because she hates them, but because they arrive already halfway there. Circe is not just a myth. She is the archetype of the feminine sorceress, the unconscious force that reflects back a man as nature, distorted and raw. She doesn't punish him, she simply reveals him. And Nietzsche, in his way, understood this. What he called the eternal feminine was not soft and sentimental. It was brutal. She is your inner image of woman, sculpted from childhood impressions, mother wounds, pornographic illusions, unmet needs. She is not real, but you project her onto real women and suffer the consequences. Symbolic, a test, not of your charm, but of your substance. This is the hidden war in male desire. The anima, as Jung would describe it, is not simply your inner woman. The pain you feel when she doesn't love you back is not rejection. In the way you flinch, even slightly, when she pulls away. And if you are unconscious of them, she will not call you out. She will simply lose respect for you. To him, they were closer to nature than culture, closer to instinct than intellect. This was not insult, but revelation. Because nature doesn't care about your intentions. The storm doesn't ask if you meant well. And when she refuses, you feel betrayed. But it's not betrayal. It's gravity. Not because women are cruel, but because you are placing the weight of your being into her hands, demanding that she carry what you haven't claimed for yourself. The sharper her gaze, the more clearly you'll see what's missing. He desired love, but distrusted the illusions it carried. He wrote often of women, sometimes bitterly, sometimes tenderly, but always with a sense of awe at their power to unmake a man who does not know himself. This is why some men fear beautiful women, not because of their beauty, but because of the terror of being exposed. The lion doesn't weigh your trauma before deciding to eat you. It is the death of the fantasy. Nietzsche saw women not as enemies, but as elemental forces. And some women, again, not all, but those tapped into this unconscious energy, they know what you are before you speak. They see it in how your eyes search them for approval, in how you laugh too loudly at their jokes, in the hollow tone behind your compliments. To the awakened feminine, the serpent woman, the dark anima, the mythic Eve, these are tells. Because you don't even know that you're begging. In the depths of male psychology, there is a paradox that few men dare face. The more you seek to be chosen by a woman, the less you seem worthy of being chosen. Jung would call this projection. Nietzsche would call it resentment disguised as love. When you need her to see you, what you're really asking is for her to validate a self you have not fully earned. The feminine, in its archetypal form, is a mirror. Nietzsche's relationship to the feminine was marked by this tension. And that is what few modern men understand. It is not femininity that wounds you. It is your unconsciousness of how you approach it. She is not the danger. Your illusions are. The modern man approaches women not as equals, but as saviors, trophies, therapists, or mothers. He doesn't bring presents. He brings wounds, not strength, but strategy. Not clarity, but hope disguised as performance. And hope is a dangerous thing, because hope is rooted in the future. And women, real women, live in the now, in presence, in instinct. This is what Nietzsche meant when he warned against idealizing women, not because they are lesser, but because they are more ancient than your words, deeper than your intellect. The feminine is not to be solved. She is to be understood symbolically. This is the myth of Eve. She does not bring sin. She brings awareness. She is a symbol. She represents a portal into your own depths, but only if you stop trying to own her and start asking what she reveals. Adam was asleep in paradise, innocent, pure, unquestioning. Nietzsche warned that if you worship her, you will resent her. The ancient myths warned that if you follow her blindly, you will lose your way. Then came Eve. Then came the apple. Then came choice. It was not a fall. It was an initiation. In the same way, the woman you desire is not just a body or a partner. Jung warned that if you don't integrate your anima, she will possess you. And yet, if you flee from her, you will never become whole. And only then, when you no longer need her, will you truly begin to love her. This is the double bind of male becoming, the tension every man must face. There is no true masculinity without facing the feminine, not out there, but within. But a man who has met his own chaos and survived, she will feel something ancient stir in her bones. She is the chaos you suppress, the longing you hide, the hunger you shame. She is the storm behind your calm exterior, the emotion behind your stoic mask, the wildness behind your logic. And until you face her, she will rule you. She will dictate how you perform. She will whisper in your dreams and sabotage your plans. She will wear the face of every woman you think you love. She will choose who you desire, but she is not them. She is you. You will not see clearly until you reclaim her. Not with desperation, but with presence. And when she looks into your eyes and sees not a boy seeking mother's warmth, not a suitor groveling for approval, because that man cannot be turned into a pig. He is already a god. There is a moment in every man's life when he stops asking, "Why didn't she love me?" and instead asks, "Who was the one she actually saw?" It is not a question of blame. It is a question of initiation. You see, most men never meet the woman in front of them. They meet a ghost, stitched from fantasy, fear, maternal hunger, erotic projection. They do not fall in love with her soul. They fall in love with the relief she promises. She feels the weight of his need pressing in, the silent demand to complete him. And she can feel that. Every glance, every joke, every touch. To rescue him. To soothe the ache he never dared speak aloud. But that ache was never hers to heal. When he comes as a manipulator, she becomes a mirror of vengeance. When he comes as a child, she becomes a mirror of indifference. Nietzsche said, "In revenge and in love woman is more barbarous than man." He wasn't warning you about women. He was warning you about your own delusions. When a man comes to a woman as a beggar, she becomes a mirror of cruelty. Not because she is these things, but because nature, real, feminine nature, responds without mercy to falsehood. This is what Nietzsche saw. The terrifying truth that there is no safe path to love, no guarantee, no formula. That the feminine force is not something to be conquered, but endured, understood, danced with, to grant you a soul, to return you to the garden you never knew. And she could not carry that weight, so she let you fall. Not because she is unpredictable, but because you are unknown to yourself. And so long as you are, she will destroy you. Because you asked her to. You asked her to give your life meaning. The manipulations, the test, the serpentine chaos coiled behind her soft lips. And he does not flinch, not out of hatred, but out of necessity. Because the man who emerges after the fall, he is real and crawled back to life. He no longer chases her. He no longer fears her. He no longer projects onto her the image of what he must become. No mask, no game. Instead, he sees her, is tired of being a goddess to cowards. He sees the light in her, yes, but also the shadow, because he has met that same chaos in himself. This is the difference between the boy and the man. The boy begs the woman to name him. The man has already buried himself. He does not chase love. He invokes it. And when a woman meets such a man, there is no script. She feels him in her gut. And suddenly, her chaos does not want to devour him. It wants to dance with him. Because she, too, of being worshipped but not understood, of being possessed but never seen. This is the redemption that Nietzsche hinted at, but never resolved. There is not bitterness. Might finally learn what it means to love without illusion, but clarity. The possibility that after the abyss, that the man who has faced the illusions of love and let them burn, not the love of the fairy tale, silent, and vows to both, unclinging, not the love of the priest, but the love of the initiated, fierce, a love that sees her beauty and her betrayal, because he no longer seeks to be chosen. He has already chosen himself. You must be ready to be alone. And when you carry that energy, you will still lose women, but you will never lose yourself. That's the difference. And that's why most men cannot hear what Nietzsche was really saying. Because to hear it, utterly, completely, voluntarily, only then will you see that the woman is not the test. You are, and if you pass, if you let the fantasy die and meet the fire within, you won't just get the girl. You'll become the man who no longer needs to. So ask yourself, when she pulled away, when she chose him, when she looked through you like you were nothing, what did she reveal? And what part of you, still clinging to illusion, refused to listen? This is not about her. It never was. Stay sovereign, and if you felt this, speak it in the comments below. Your story might wake another man up. This is your descent. And if you're still watching, you're already halfway through the flames. You won't come out the same, but maybe that's the point. Stay lucid, subscribe, but only if you're ready to stop lying to yourself. This is Erosos.